The Zimbabwe presidential spokesperson, George Charamba, has launched a scathing attack on the SADC Election Observer Mission head, Mumba, when he says he went beyond the SADC protocol in relation to compiling the SADC Observer Mission election report in Zimbabwe elections.
We are seeing an enthusiastic chairman of a process which is in fact a SADC one. He does not report to the Zambian people, which is why we all were flabbergasted to find him spending as much as more than 2 hours on a national television. Who is he reporting to? This is a SADC mission, for goodness sake, appointed by the chairman of a SADC organ, not a SADC summit, SADC organ, right? What it means is the preliminary report still has to, one, become a final report. And when it becomes a final report, it still has to be tabled before a council of ministers, which is really a body which brings together foreign ministers of SADC.
Of the trade?
Yes. No, it is actually, it could be larger actually, right? So there's a council of ministers, and it's probably meeting around February, March, right? Then when that has happened, then the foreign ministers must look at that report. They will then push it upwards to the SADC Troika, which will be around or thereabout, right? It still has to come to summit,
yes.
And this will be about August next year, right? It is only at summit that that report is tabled, discussed, amended, endorsed, or rejected. And I have news for you. That SADC summit will be here in Zimbabwe. And it is the summit that will ensure that the president of Zimbabwe, who presently is the deputy chair of SADC, then becomes the chair of SADC. So really, all these noises are unprocedural, first and foremost. But they have a constituency they are meant to appease and placate, which is the constituency that in fact sent us a hard gun, pretending to be a chairperson. But it also teaches us a lesson. When you have a process that creates a head of state, that creates a government, that creates peace or creates war in a society, does it make sense for us to leave decisions around the constitution of a SADC observer mission to a single person minding a subsidiary body of summit? Maybe that's a conversation which we must start as Zimbabwean just as well. And let's look in the crystal ball. We have a minimum of 3 nations who are set to go for elections. We can't proceed to Eswatini for their next elections with this mess, where a chairman decides to abuse his office and destabilize a nation, right? But let me make it very, very clear. The president has made it clear to his counterpart in Zambia that whatever the excesses of the chairman of the observer mission of SADC, that should never be allowed to injure the excellent relations between Zambia and Zimbabwe, between President Mnangagwa and President Hichilema. We must protect that bilateral relationship, but use the weaknesses we have seen in this mission to set right that which has to be corrected within our procedures in SADC. And that is the mission ahead.